A raging Boston storm. A soaked night alone. I thought I was in danger when a towering stranger offered me shelter, but the real shock came as he held me through the darkness, his warmth chasing every fear away. One night changed everything, and I never wanted him to let go. Please subscribe to Blind Thoughts and press the bell icon so you never miss our next story. The wind howled like a living thing, rattling the windows of the Boston Art Gallery where I worked. Closing up late was never my plan, but the storm outside had rolled in faster than the forecasts predicted. Rain battered the glass in sheets so heavy it blurred the city into a watercolor. I glanced at the time, 12:44 p.m. too late. My small apartment was 3 blocks away, but it might as well have been on the other side of the Charles River. I shrugged into my trench coat, tugged my scarf tight, and stepped into the downpour. The cold bit through every layer instantly. My umbrella flipped inside out within half a block, useless against the gale. By the second block, I was drenched, boots squelching. The storm's roar drowned the city's usual Friday night buzz. Even the taxi cabs seemed to have vanished. I clutched my bag to my chest and pressed on, blinking against the needle-sharp rain. That's when a deep voice cut through the chaos. "Lena." I turned, startled. Through the watery haze I made out a tall figure striding toward me. Broad shoulders under a dark hood. Evan Blake. My friend Ava's neighbor. I'd seen him a few times in the lobby when I visited Ava's condo, always polite, always quiet. But in the flicker of a street lamp, he looked larger than I remembered. Maybe it was the storm, or maybe the way he moved with steady confidence, like nothing could knock him off balance. "You'll catch pneumonia out here," he said, his voice carrying easily despite the wind. "I'm fine," I tried to say, but the words came out as a shiver. Without another word he shrugged off his heavy waterproof coat and draped it over my shoulders. Warmth surrounded me, smelling faintly of cedar and rain. "My place is just across the street," he said. "Come on. The power's out half the time in storms like this. You can warm up until it passes." I hesitated. It was late. He was a near stranger. And he was big, really big, the kind of build that filled a doorway. I told myself that's why a tiny flicker of fear darted through me, quick as lightning. But there was something steady in his eyes, a calm that anchored the wild night. I nodded. His condo building loomed like a lighthouse against the storm. Inside, the lobby lights flickered but held. He led me up 2 flights, his long strides measured so I could keep pace. I noticed how his wet hair clung to his forehead, how droplets traced the strong lines of his jaw. He unlocked his door and ushered me in. Warm lamplight and the scent of fresh coffee met me like a hug. A gray couch, books stacked neatly, a guitar propped by the window. It felt lived in, but peaceful. "Bathrooms down the hall," he said, handing me a thick towel. "I'll make tea." "You're shivering." I peeled off my soaked trench coat and boots, wrapping myself in the towel like a cocoon. In the mirror I caught my own reflection, cheeks flushed, hair plastered to my face. A mess, but alive. When I emerged, Evan was in the kitchen, sleeves rolled, filling 2 mugs. He looked up and smiled, small, warm, enough to light the dim room. "Chamomile okay?" "Perfect," I said, grateful for the steam rising between us. Thunder boomed, rattling the windows. The lights flickered, then cut out entirely. Darkness swallowed the room except for the faint glow from the city's emergency street lamps outside. Evan grabbed a lantern from a cabinet and clicked it on, bathing us in soft gold. "Typical Boston grid," he said with a rueful grin. "Happens every big storm." I laughed, the sound a little shaky. Adds to the atmosphere, I guess. We settled on the couch, a safe distance apart. The storm outside thrashed against the glass, a relentless drumbeat. But inside, a calm wrapped around us like the lantern's glow. "Do you live alone?" I asked, more to fill the silence than out of real curiosity. "Yeah. Work keeps me moving, construction management. Long days, loud sights. Nights like this, they're a relief." I nodded, sipping the tea. His presence was grounding. Still, that flicker of fear lingered, born not of danger but of his sheer size and the quiet strength he radiated. He was a mountain beside me, and I felt both small and strangely safe. Hours slipped by with surprising ease. We talked about everything: favorite authors, embarrassing childhood memories, the best pizza in Boston. Each laugh drew me closer to forgetting the storm. Sometime after 2 a.m., another thunderclap shook the building, and I startled. The lantern wavered. "You okay?" Evan asked. Yeah. Just jumpy." He hesitated, then spoke softly. "You can stay here tonight. Couch is comfortable. I'll grab extra blankets." Relief washed through me. "Thank you. That would help." He returned with a pile of blankets, spreading them across the couch like a careful architect. I stretched out, but the chill of the storm still seeped through the walls. "Still cold?" he asked. "A little," I admitted. Evan crouched beside me, concern etching his features. "I can stay right here, if it helps. Just for warmth. No pressure." I searched his face. There was nothing but sincerity. "Okay," I whispered. He settled on the floor beside the couch, his back to me, close enough that his body heat radiated like a quiet fire. When the wind howled again, I startled and instinctively reached for his arm. He didn't move away. Instead, he shifted slightly, allowing me to rest my head on his broad shoulder. His presence was immense, solid as the earth. I was aware of every breath, every heartbeat. And in that steady rhythm, the fear melted into something else: comfort, trust, a surprising tenderness. I don't know when I fell asleep, only that when dawn broke in watery gray light, Evan was still there, leaning against the couch, keeping watch. My head rested on his chest now, his arm around me, not tight, just protective. "Morning," he said quietly when my eyes fluttered open. "Morning," I whispered back. For a moment we simply listened to the softened rain. The world felt different. Not because anything had happened beyond shared warmth, but because something inside me had shifted. I'd been scared, of the storm, of his size, of the unknown. But all night long, he'd simply held space, offering nothing but safety. I didn't want him to move. I didn't want that feeling to end. Weeks later, people would ask how Evan and I started dating. I'd smile and say, it began the night of the Great Boston Storm. But the truth is deeper. It began when I realized that sometimes the biggest, most intimidating presence can also be the gentlest harbor. He was so big, yes. And at first, I was scared. But he held me all night long, and I never wanted him to stop.